Hello everyone and welcome to my first video. I'm Shazam and I'm going to be talking about Sage Mode. So what is Sage Mode? Sage Mode is a state in which a person has natural energy absorbed and well controlled within their body, which gives them massive boost to their ninjutsu, taijutsu and genjutsu skills. Any ninjutsu performed with that natural energy added to it is called senjutsu. Normal chakra users only use spiritual energy and physical energy, whereas Sage Mode users have access to a third type, which is natural energy. So how to achieve Sage Mode? Sage Mode is achieved when a person absorbs natural energy, a process that starts with them being fully balanced and still. In that state, they need to feel the natural energy surrounding them in order to be able to absorb it and contain it. However, to be achieved, Sage Mode requires massive chakra reserves and a strong body to contain the energy. Otherwise, if they absorb more than they could handle, they would turn to stone. At least that's the confirmed risk of the Toad Sage Mode. The known types of Sage Mode are Toad Sage Mode, taught by the toads in Mount Myoboku, and the Snake Sage Mode, which is taught by the snakes in Ryuchi Cave. There is also Hashirama Sage Mode, which has no known origin. The hidden locations known to teach Sage Mode are Mount Myoboku, home of the toads, or Ryuchi Cave, home of the snakes. These places are well hidden and are pretty far from the rest of the world. Fukasaku tells Naruto that it takes a whole month to get to Mount Myoboku on foot. And also, if the person didn't know the secret route, it's impossible to find it. The easy way to get there is through reverse summoning, which was used to get Naruto there. The only known Sage Mode users are Jiraiya, Naruto, Kabuto, Hashirama, Minato, that is excluding Orochimaru, Jugo's clan, the curse mark subjects, since their natural energy isn't felt or absorbed but simply given, which causes them to go into those berserk states, losing themselves as Second describes it, and not well controlled. Hashirama, Naruto, and Minato are confirmed perfect sages. The rest are not. I'm not counting Kabuto because that's just dumb. I'm also not counting 6-path Sage Mode users like Madara or Hagoromo. So how strong is Sage Mode? Well, when Jiraiya infiltrated the Hidden Rain village to gather intel on Pain, he decided to enter Sage Mode immediately at the start of the battle. This surprised Gamaken, as Jiraiya never really showed that mode. Jiraiya saw that it was a perfect trade to spend 5 minutes against a man wielding the Rinnegan without using his hands just to go Sage Mode, and once he did, he physically dominated all 3 paths. Another example would be Naruto. As soon as his Sage Mode ran out, he started fighting defensively until his clone could be summoned through the scroll. He was only blocking Pain's attacks, and once his Sage Mode came back, he started attacking Tendo Pain, who was pushed back after. It's also worth mentioning that Rasen Shuriken was considered a forbidden jutsu due to the cellular damage it dealt to Naruto's arm. Not only could he use 3 in Sage Mode without any damage, but he was also able to throw it and expand it on command. So I'd say Sage Mode is pretty OP. Not counting Naruto's 6-path Sage Mode that wrecked perfect Susanoo powered by old Biju, while Naruto only had half of Kyuubi and Sage Mode with fragments of the rest, but okay. Shikaku also told Shikamaru not to help Naruto because the best way there was to help him is not to interfere, since Sage Mode puts the user on a whole different level from anyone else. I mean, how many other abilities had such praise? Of course, Sage Mode comes with its advantages. Other than the incredible power-up the user receives, Sage Mode grants somewhat of an additional sense. It increases their ability to sense any attack or person. The senses are enhanced that Madara with no eyes was able to react perfectly to every attack, and faster than those who had eyes could. Kabuto vs Itachi and Sasuke is an example, where he shut his eyes and enveloped the whole cave in blinding light, and he was easily fighting both of them, until the ass-pulled Izanami came into play. Naruto was also able to sense chakra specific to each person when he arrived at Konoha, that he knew Kakashi was dead. There are also specific abilities that Sage Mode grants. In Naruto's case, he learned the Frog Kata, which is the Toad's art of battle. He used it against Pain, and it seemed like the blow of his fists extended a little in order to hit the target, sort of like nature being on his side, which Kabuto also said. In Kabuto's case, he has Muki Tensei, or inorganic reincarnation, which allows him to give life to something that isn't alive, like the environment surrounding him. Okay, this is totally headcanon, but Genjutsu is likely to be useless against a Sage Mode user, considering one of the ways to counter Genjutsu is to disturb chakra flow from an outside source, and that could be natural energy infused within the main chakra network. It's also worth mentioning that Itachi was frightened when he learned that Kabuto found Ryuchi Cave and immediately assumed he learned Sage Mode. Kabuto also mentioned that Orochimaru couldn't learn Sage Mode due to his hosts being too weak for it, indicating that Sage Mode users have significantly larger chakra reserves, which makes it difficult for the caster to manipulate the network if the receiving end has good control, especially if they have good control. However, despite all these advantages and boosts Sage Mode offers, it could still be useless in battle with no prep time, since it requires the user to stand perfectly still for a long time, and the problem is the same if it runs out. Luckily, there is a way to avoid this problem. Jiraiya fuses with Fukasaku and Shima. They keep gathering natural energy and balance it while Jiraiya fights, keeping his Sage Mode for the whole fight. Naruto couldn't fuse with them due to Kyuubi rejecting the toads, so he came up with another way by having shadow clones gathering natural energy, and once the chakra within them goes back to his original body, he enters Sage Mode. That pretty much sums up everything I could find. I hope I didn't miss anything. I'll be deciding on whether I'd make another video depending on this one. In the meantime, take care.